Today, we will present the inositol triphosphate as a secondary messenger. The inositol triphosphate pathway is made up of three parts. The first messenger, also known as a signaling molecule, second messenger, and cell response. The signaling molecule, an extracellular ligand, will bind to the G protein coupled receptor. Once this activates, it will lead to the activation of phospholipase C. Phospholipase C is an enzymatic response that interacts with phospholipids within the phospholipid membrane. The phospholipase C will approach PIP2 found in the membrane. Then phospholipase C will break PIP2 into two molecules which are DAG and IP3. The IP3 will move on into the pathway and the DAG will stay in the phospholipid membrane.
IP3 inositol triphosphate is a molecule that transfers a chemical signal received from the cell to other networks within the cell. The IP3 becomes a second messenger. A second messenger is a small non-protein component of signal transduction pathways. It then diffuses quickly through a cytosol and binds to an IP3 gated calcium channel, causing it to open. The calcium is allowed to move into the cytosol.
After the gated calcium channel is open, the calcium ions start to flow out. This causes an increase in the concentration of calcium ions in the cytosol. When the concentration of calcium ions is greater on the outside than the inside, the IP3 detaches itself from the calcium channel, which in turn closes it. The calcium on the outside will move on to other proteins and activate them, which causes a wave of cellular responses. For example, one cellular response we're all familiar with is muscle contraction. You see, your muscle, in order to contract, needs myosin to bind with ATP to form ADP. However, something stands in the way of the ATP and myosin. That thing in the way is troponin. Now, this is where calcium ions come into play. After leaving the gated channel, calcium ions go on to something else to activate or bind to. In this case, it finds troponin. Troponin loves calcium, so when they bind, they change shape, thus allowing ATP to get together with myosin. Now that they're together, the muscle can flex. After the muscle is done contracting, the calcium unbinds from the troponin, which then makes the muscle relax. Afterwards, the muscle waits for more calcium ions and more ATP. So overall, it's just a big cycle that happens over and over again, allowing us to continue with our bodily function.